Hi. Right, next bit then. We have to basically add some detail down to this because we don't have a lot happening. It's just a corner. So what we could do with is go over here. We could either have a large buttress to hold the corner in place, or we can have more of those little kind of rooms and details or things, or we could have both. And I personally like the idea of both. So what I'm going to do is look at these face on. There we are. There's 4 of them. And what I need to do here is extrude all 4 like that. Now delete there. Go to bridge. Yeesh, that wasn't nice. Let's use this one instead. It's bridging polygons, which is never a good idea. Okay. Go up here and quickly do a ring and a connect thrice. Okay, do a target weld. Turn it over. The reason I've done this is so we've got this nice flat piece here, you see. It's no use without this flat piece at all. Okay. That done. I can now go straight into bevel mode. Okay. Look at the shape again. Take it out the middle. Just do an insert again. To there, and then in. Move that to about there. Just clone it to an element. Hinge from edge. Pick my hinge. It's going to be this one. 90 degrees. 8 segments. Click OK. Delete that. That's not a very good buttress, admittedly, but it gives the impression of buttressness. In fact, let's grow this one, and I'll have the buttress at slightly more of an angle, I think. Grow it a bit more. There. So the bridge. There we go. Suppose I better use a cut as well. Nuts to it. Not that it matters especially that much, but I prefer doing it the right way. Just to kind of prevent accidents later on as much as anything. Good old interactive bridge. There we go. Okay, and back over here. Do an extrude. Okay. Should do it. And now I'll just flatten it. Now I want to be careful how I do this, so I'm going to go into my viewport here. And what I want to do instead is a quick slice. It's easier if I select the polys I want to slice first. Otherwise I'll end up slicing blooming everything. Should do it. Okay, drop into perspective. Let's cut them just about right, so that's good news. Actually sod putting the cap back on properly, I can't be bothered. There we go. Okay, and down. Just again, trying to build out some shapes that we like. Down until it starts to collide. Okay, and delete off. Okay, that gives us a good shape here. Now then, on the inside here, where we appear to have an extra polygon going on, let's just collapse that and that. It's better. Now just have a look over here, see what's happening. Then what we could do with really is some sort of a doorway type thing. So let's find my doorway reference, because this would be a good place to put one. I think what I'm going to do is select here, and I'll just go ring round, connect, move that up just a tiny bit, find the place that I want to do this at, which will be here and here. Okay. Now, do some grabs. Oops. Like so. Trying to avoid that window. Do a weld. That will do. Now, I need to bring this part down, of course. Otherwise, our door's going to look very odd. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is bevel. Make sure it's by local normal. Cancel out again, and here we go. Back in. Bring that back into about there. Alright, starting to get somewhere. Woo. Okay, delete that. Now, unless you're planning on animating your door or having it opening and closing or whatever, I really wouldn't go to town on this next piece. You don't need to do too much to it, so make sure I can get everything in that I want to work on. Yeah, I don't think I'm in the right place there at all. Let's have a look. There. Okay, and this excess at the top here can be sorted out quite easily. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connects. So ring, connect, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or is it? No, it's just 3. Door. Oh no, it isn't. I swear to God, I'm having trouble with my brain today. Connect 3. There we go. Okay, quick target weld. And again. And again. There we are. Swing it round, so we've got this nice big flat fellow going on. Now, if I go to local, scale it on local, I should be able to. Okay, that's fine. Okay, and I'm going to do a quick extrude inwards, reduce my base width a bit. There we are, and that creates a 2-pronged door job. What I can do here as well is create a seam around the outside of the door. Otherwise it'll look like the door's just a solid object. Okay. Might be easier actually just selecting these manually, or I'm going to do something wrong and it'll go horribly Pete Tong. Okay, and in here, there we are. We extrude just to give us that gap. So F4, so we can see it. I mean, you know, as I say, we might not ever get down this close, but just in case we do. Okay, let's get to work on this. Just to give it a bit of ornamentation as much as anything. Right, now it's time for ignore back facing. Okay, off to the bevel. Okay, now we're going to get to a point in a moment where, if you look, they're getting a bit close to each other there. That's okay. There we go. That should do it. Gives us quite a good shape as well. Now over the top. And the last time I ever actually used the drag and select, not marquee, but where's the option? There it is, this one here, yeah? Paint select was on the actual Stormbringer set, and I haven't used it since. So if Max has improved it, and Autodesk's, you know, done a better job on it since then, I apologise. But it's shite. Pardon my language. Right, though it is good if you have a planar object and you want to select bits of it, I must admit. There we go. And there. Pull back, press F4. There, see? Lovely. Purdy, purdy, purdy. Okay, now over here. What are you doing, silly computer? Not time for bevel yet. So eager to bevel, so unwilling to admit it. Okay. Looks fine. Whoops. So nice getting an opportunity to do some bevel paint. There we go. Good. Details starting to come in thick and fast. Right, over here, let's have a look at these shapes. Again, this looks like a job for bevel. Gives them a nice armoured look. Like so. Much better. They go back quite a long way, those things, actually. Okay, let's go into here. And let's have a quick look at this. Now then, what I'm going to do here is build a corridor type area, an open one. So, look at the rough sizes I'm dealing with here. That looks fine. So if I make it approximately this high, probably a good idea actually to call in a biped for this job. 1.7 meters. Yep, 2 of those is just right. I was right. I like being right. Okay, bevel. In just a little bit. Then back. To about there. Back again. And then back again one more. There we are. Okay, that leaves us this area here. And you can do that. Groovy. I love models where you can actually walk through them. Sort of. I don't think I'm going to actually connect this corridor to anything, but in theory you could. So, okay, now down here. Now rather than... Actually no, I was going to say rather than doing the cylinders and creating a piece from there, but I think I'll just go and do it anyway. Oops. So, let's see, create shape from selection. It's going to be linear. It's called delete, because that's what you always call this sort of thing. Okay. Effect pivot only center to object. Effect pivot only off. Let's quickly create a cylinder. Approximately 1 meter high. Bit too wide for my liking there, so there we go. Now if you noticed, when I was using this before, it chamfers the tops and I don't want that, so Control I, delete both those ends. Shift I, and I'm going to pick my path. It's going to be this fellow. Don't really want quite that many. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for safety. Okay, divide evenly. End offset, divide evenly. That sounds fun. And I'll put my end offset up. It's going to be too much of a pain in the arse to actually zoom about in, so I'm just going to end offset divide evenly anyway. Click apply. Delete. Deleted. Okay, go up here. Increase the size of that thickness just a little bit. And bring it down like so. And let's use the attach tool just to attach all these. Okay, so we've got that useful little area there. And at the back here, perhaps, we could use this. Just going to do this as well. Do a bevel. Oop, come back here, you. Bevel by group this time. Should do it about there. There we go, delete that. Quick bridge in here. And there to there. Always useful having something like that in there. Now that that's been brought backwards, I can now go into my bevel and bring it back a bit more like so, and a bit more back. Bring those off each way and then delete. See? More corridors, more than you could ever want in your life, ever. Okay, in a moment I'm going to start putting some pipes down here. Before I do though, let's quickly do these. And I'm going to do an extrude by local normal, about yay far. Yay being a number between here and here. Okay. Now up here I'm going to do a cylinder. Convert to a double polygon. Shift drag. Drop. Okay, now take that part and that part. Double time. Cylindrical bevels are the best kind, really. You can just doodle with them so much and have fun. You can do stuff that doesn't even need to be done with these. Okay. Now let's just bring this right down for a while. Pardon me. Now that it's down here, it creates such an interesting shape, I think you'll agree. Okay, left viewport. Line it up a bit. Okay, let's go back in because we have to decide what we're going to do with this top piece now. Because at the moment, it's not really doing much. Zoom in on it. Now then, looks like doing a cut might be an option. So, look at the way in which it's lying. There, that's the way the cut's going to have to be. There. Now, I'm going to bevel it up in size first. And then down again. Oops. Tiny bit up. Try not to waste your bevels. That's why I just cancelled that one. Okay, and to there. Go into element. A little bit up as well. Hinge from edge. Big hinge. 90. Now if you look, that's a little bit weirdly curved. Don't like that. Because I'm being a bit of a prat, I shouldn't have moved that up at all. Hinge from edge. 90. I always make that mistake every few tutorials or so. I seem to think to myself, oh yeah, that's how I do it. It's like as if my brain doesn't work at all. Okay. Nearly. Bevel time. Actually, I don't want to quite do it that badly. I'll just bring it straight up. Having a bevel right in the middle of that would have been a bad idea. Okay. Sometimes these ones can be quite tiring when you're trying to work out a complex bevel. But don't worry, just take your time. I like doing this one because it makes it look more like a expandable piece, which it isn't, obviously. Okay, delete that part off the end. Quite important to delete the part off the end, to be honest. So let's grow these. All the way down to there. Control I. Oh, actually no. Okay. Yeah, I completely forgot that these two pieces here are more or less the same, are the same object rather. But that's okay. I'll just get rid of it doing it this way instead. Delete. Delete. Which is pretty much a more efficient method of doing it anyway, really. Okay, now I'll grab this part and do a 90-degree shift while holding down the shift button. Okay, that gives us that shape there. Now I can attach those as well, like that. Now, down here we've got this horrible smooth piece of wall. Awful, awful, awful. So, what can we do with it? Well, let's have a look. What I'll do is do a ring there. Actually, no, a loop there, sorry. And then a quick chamfer. That gives us two of these nice little pieces. Now, what I'm going to do, make sure these are all selected. And I'm going to do a bevel. Now if you look, they're going all over the shop. What's going on here? Should be our local normal, damn you. Bevel, our local normal. Bring that out just a tiny bit like that. Okay. Now in here, I'm going to select these. All the way through to there. I'm going to chamfer them. Then I'm going to do a connect. Just the once. Chamfer that. Move it down a bit. Like so. This gives me a chance to do some mayhem. Woo. So some bevels. There we go. Nice. Those are the offices on the 3rd floor. Okay. And this one just completely failed to get done because it wasn't selected properly. Oh dear. So bevel it. There we go. Easily repaired. And that brings us over to here. Then over here, if you look at it. Again, looking at our shape. Haven't got a lot going on down here again. We really want to avoid the nothing's going on bit. So even if it just means a simple bevel. There's always something you can do with these things. There we go. Again, just using bevel to kind of push our shapes out of it. Now up here, I wish that bloody message would bugger off. I'm fully aware, thank you computer, that my internet is not working the way it should. Okay, so a quick inset, scale it down, bevel, back. Now that does not look like normals. Oh, it is. Go figure. Oh, I see. Try it again. Okay, that gives us this shape here. Good thing about this shape, getting nice and close, is I've got access to this bit here. Once I've done a quick fast bevel. Create shape. Let's call it shape 1 for the moment. Okay, and I'm going to select all its verts, Control A, right click, and I suspect the corners, so let's make them smooths. Interpolation, fine. Thickness. Oh, I'm just doing vertexes at the moment, that's no blooming good. There we are. Effect pivot only, send it to object, effect pivot only off, and copy it 3 times. Attach them on. There we go. And there's some things that do something, but we're not sure what. Either way, we're sure it's very impressive. Up here then. Where we're getting close to the top. Press F4. Look at my shapes again. Pardon me. What I'm going to do here, I think, is have a big window that kind of goes all the way up here, really big. So what I'm going to do here is just do a ring and a connect, grab there, there, actually I'll make it 2 windows, and there, do a chamfer. Okay, now we'll go all the way across here and just do a target weld. Ugh, wrong bit. Control. There we go, weld. We've got too many, we've got too much. Way too many. Yeah, that's probably okay, I think. Let's hope anyway. Let's go down and look at our windows. They're the first indication that something's wrong. No, they look okay. Alright, so I'm going to select here. And do an inset. And another inset. Okay, that's fine. Right, now I can use these shapes to start beveling back. Right. A little bit of detail here. There we go. That gives us those. Really lovely and big. Let's look above these. Just checking the shape out. No, that looks fine. So that's a corner piece. Unhide all. And you can see now how it fits onto there. A little bit of work on the top there is going to be needed, I think, just to kind of straighten this bit out. As you can probably see. Make sure I'm not selecting anything I shouldn't be selecting. Okay, that's fine. Drop into perspective, zoom. Okay, so these are our basic parts we're going to use to construct this with. Hopefully you can see how this is going to start kind of fitting together. It's a two-tiered affair anyway, lots of lovely space station-y stuff. Haven't built our gun yet to go on to every other part of this, but we will in a moment. Okay, next. I'm going to do my edge checks. So I press F4 so I can see what I'm doing. Save as, workbench again. Looks like I've got caps lock on. Okay, down here I'll use my edge checks. It is by face normal, so that's okay. Convert to edible polygon. Now this one. Again, edge checks. Convert to edible polygon. Okay, just make sure we haven't got any mad things that have zoomed out of our bounding boxes into the wild blue yonder. No, it actually doesn't look like they have for a change, which is nice. Alright then, so we're starting to get somewhere. Okay, in the next part we'll start actually assembling some dock. Till then, thanks for watching, bye bye for now.